Hey guys, today we get to drive a 2021 BMW X6M50i. This exact model is tested at around $90,000 US and is optioned with this beautiful tanzanite blue metallic paint, which honestly I can't get enough of, but that's also a $2,000 option. This car also features 20-inch M Performance rims and a gorgeous Tacora red interior. I will have to say up front that this car has tons of tech, which can take anyone a while getting used to, but there's tons of ways to customize this car within its menus to make it the exact driving experience you want. With that being said, let's get to the drive. Hey everyone, today we are driving quite a treat. We have an X6M50i 2021. Overall just a really pretty car, and I can't wait to show you guys how it drives. So for most of this drive today, we're going to be driving in our sport mode, just because we're really interested to see how this car performs with a high curb weight of 5,000 pounds, but with the 517 horsepower from this 4.4 liter V8, it should kind of compensate for that. When you put this vehicle into sport mode, it kind of just opens up and you can hear the exhaust valves open. It gives you a rumble even at low RPMs, and overall it sounds really nice in the cabin. Today is a snowy day in New Hampshire, so we're not going to be completely testing the limits of this vehicle, but you can see that it really puts on the power well. The steering wheel feels very nice in the hands, and these paddle shifters are really nice quality. Just like I reviewed the BMW 7 Series, they're very similar to that, where they just have a hard metal feel to them and they're nice. The cabin is super comfortable. You don't get a ton of road noise. And the practicality of a large SUV is something that interests me in, you know, the performance market of SUVs. You really get a lot of feedback from the exhaust in sport mode. And then when I go down here and I put it into comfort, what exhaust? It just completely went away. You have no idea what you're driving once you put it into comfort. It's like a totally different vehicle. Get a lot of tire noise. It rides super smooth, and it just feels like any other luxury SUV. This car also features Harman Kardon speakers. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but you know, I just know that they're a very nice brand, and anyone who's an audiophile that listens to, you know, a lot of music on a daily basis, it would be a very nice car to have as a commuter. I just want to give a special thanks to both Matts for lending me this car today, especially Matt Sr. Overall, I think this red interior fits the car very well. The carbon fiber trim is also nice to look at. There's really not any materials in this interior that are of low quality. This vehicle is in towards the range of $100,000 US, so when you are buying a car in that category, you're really wanting a vehicle that does everything from practicality to providing you a sporty performance feel, and just overall having anything you want in a car. And I think this is a good buy if you're looking for high practicality. Maybe you have a family and want to always be carrying around, you know, 4+ people, while also, you know, being able to switch it into sport mode and just having some fun. if I were to drive this car every day, I would most likely leave it in this sport mode. Obviously right now on the highway at near 80 miles an hour, we're getting roughly 18 miles per gallon on the average. So it's not great for, you know, saving a lot on fuel, but it's definitely a fun car to drive. So that's kind of the trade-off. Having a high-powered, you know, V8 in this vehicle, you're not gonna get the great fuel economy. So I'm actually kind of impressed that we're around the 18 figure. You can also see in the gauge cluster that it averages up the live fuel economy too. And at points we're getting like 90, and it's like, that's kind of a useless figure to show, a live miles per gallon meter, because I feel like if I'm looking for the figure, I want the average, because, you know, when I press the pedal and it goes down to 5, that's not really a relevant figure for overall what the fuel economy of the car is. The shifting from the sport mode is very aggressive. I feel as if I were to leave this in sport mode every day, that would be the one thing that kind of annoys me a little bit, because if I'm constantly, you know, changing the amount of throttle I'm giving and rumbling through the gears, the aggressive shifting just kind of gives you a jolt, and it's not something that, you know, you want to experience on everyday driving. I guess that's just something that's so great with these different drive modes, is you can kind of drive the car however you want to. Like, you can leave it in comfort and just kind of cruise along your daily drive. You can have some fun in sport mode. It even has a dynamic setting, so it adjusts to how you're currently driving the car. So if I'm giving it a lot of acceleration, it'll kind of give the sporty feel. It'll kick in the aggressive shifting. It'll open up the exhaust valves. So with the X6M50i and all their 6 Series SUVs, you kind of get this slopey back where the car is lower and it's not a full SUV, but it's really obviously not a sedan either. It's kind of the in-between. And the feel of this car, you know, being 5,000 pounds, you can definitely feel how heavy it is and how large it is, but it also gives you a sporty feel, as, you know, the suspension's lower than most SUVs, and it's going to give you less body roll into corners than a normal SUV. I believe that BMW does this dynamic driving mode very well, as to where whether you're in one of their SUVs or one of their sedans, you can choose what driving mode you want to be in, whether you're hard accelerating and you want to be in sport mode, or if you're just cruising and you want to be in comfort. The dynamic setting does a little bit of both. This car also has an Eco Pro setting, which I would find myself never using, just because I feel that Eco modes kind of dull everything that's fun about a car, from the throttle response to the exhaust note, and gives you a very dull shifting experience in the car too. The suspension of this car absorbs bumps really well too. I can feel almost no imperfections in the road. The larger bumps you can still feel a little bit, but the shocks do a nice job at absorbing even in sport mode. This car also has a heated steering wheel, which I've honestly never experienced in a car, but it heats up very quickly, and it's, you know, nice to have in the winter when you go out to start your car in the morning and, you know, you can barely drive at first because your steering wheel is freezing. It's something convenient to have. It's not a necessity, but it's definitely nice to have in the winter months. You know, this vehicle, for being 5,000 pounds, it just scoots. It gets up to higher speeds very, very quickly, and honestly doesn't give you much room on these smaller New Hampshire roads. I'd be very curious to see how this thing performs, you know, up in the mountains in New Hampshire. We have a lot of nice roads that I'd love to take this thing on maybe in the future, and it's definitely a high performance vehicle, regardless of it being an SUV or not. The driver's seat is a very nice place to be in this car. You have adequate leg room. And just, BMW does these interiors right. They're super comfortable. It's very driver oriented. Like, even the screens are catered to me rather than the passenger. Kind of gets your passenger from changing your radio station. I actually had to deactivate the steering wheel just because of how hot it gets. I wish there was, you know, a degree of heat that you could provide on the steering wheel, kind of just like how the heated seats do, where they have 3 modes. It'd be nice if it just had a lower mode so my hands don't sweat, because then at that point you're just almost ruining your steering wheel if you're getting all your sweaty hands all over it. If someone's in the market for one of these and they don't want to have 2 cars and they just want one vehicle to do 2 different jobs, being a daily driver and a sports vehicle, this definitely is able to do both. I feel as if I would never get bored with just revving this thing through gears, and also having it as a daily driver, you know, to and from work. Overall, I'm super impressed with how this X6M50i drives. It's a lot of words to say, but it drives very nicely. The Bridgestone All Seasons definitely hold up very well. They're a nice tire to really have all year round. If you are buying one of these, I definitely recommend going for the smaller rim option. I believe they offer up to 22-inch rims, and I feel as if those will be easily scratched. And if you go over a lot of potholes, say you know, live in an area like Boston where there's just traps all over the road, definitely option these smaller rims so you don't get them all damaged. If you bend a rim, especially in one of these vehicles, you'll definitely pay for it. Although I'm not a huge fan of the X6M styling, I just don't like the slopey rear, as it really doesn't give me much visibility. I feel the C-pillars are too large, which are the pillars on each side of the rear view, and I just feel they're too big to where you can't really see anything around you. So it's good that this car has blind spot monitoring. But if you're a person who likes how this thing looks, because I don't think it's hideous, but it's just not in my preference to have a slopey back SUV. I do feel as if this is a better option than, say, the X7 or the X8. I mean, they have, you know, an SUV for every person's preference, and I feel as if this one, being a smaller SUV, definitely has its advantages, as well as there's not a ton of body roll. This thing's very tight, and it just gives you this sportier feel than, say, one of those larger SUVs. So to sum up this X6M50i, if you guys weren't paying attention, I mean, I'm sure you're just listening to the exhaust note and you don't even want to listen to me, but please hang on for just one more minute. So we're talking about this 4.4 liter V8 that this thing has. It provides a lot of power to, and wouldn't say oversized vehicle, but a larger SUV. And at 5,000 pounds, you really don't feel it, as it hangs through tight in the corners. You don't get a ton of body roll. The BMW suspension is just really good in this car. The M Performance brakes hold up very well, as you can stop on a dime, and all the different adjustable drive modes in this car make it so it has something for everyone. And I think that's what's so special about these BMWs that they've made over the past couple years, especially, is all the different adjustable drive modes, and there's something for everyone in the BMW lineup. So thanks for a third time to Matt and Matt for letting me take this thing out today. I appreciate all my subscribers, all my viewers. It's been really hard to get cars recently, as partnerships with dealerships and stuff haven't worked out, and it's definitely been a grind to get you guys content, but we're working on it. Please hit up the like, subscribe buttons, and stay tuned for more content. And if you're in the southern New Hampshire area and you want me to review your car, hit up this email, autojoeyt@gmail.com, and we'll be in touch. Thanks everyone for watching, and please stay tuned for more content.